Hello everybody, how are we doing? Hope you're okay on this lovely Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Saturday. Thank you for joining me.
Pit lane speed limit is 35 miles per hour.
We're here
Pit
in
exit's
the
clear. Stay behind the white line.
iR-04 at Laguna Seca. The engine sounds a little bit quiet, doesn't it? What? Sorry, spare me a second. I want to tweak.
The track temperature is decreasing. It's now 33 Celsius. The pit exit's clear.
That's a bit better. So yeah, basically the this whole week has been kind of a bit of a. I didn't expect it to be this. I've taken the week off work, and I just expected to be doing races and just enjoying races. But actually, this week has turned into a bit of a voyage of discovery. For all things to do with sim racing. So the from my basically all around my setup really. In terms of my pedals, the force feedback. We spent hours yesterday on the force feedback, and yeah, and lots of learning and then relearning. Like today, I stumbled across. I've been watching quite a bit of Gamer Muscles content, but I really like that guy. He's the tea drinking. He's UK's Matt Malone. He's quintessentially English with his tea drinking. Now, to be honest, I'm a coffee guy, so I don't know. He probably instantly hates me if he ever hears that. But I do like a cup of tea as well. Obviously, I mean I'm English, of course I like a cup of tea. But you know, my hot drink of choice is a coffee. So if that's sacrilege, I do apologise profusely. But so yeah, and his content, like I said, I really like that guy. He's a smart guy, very much into his sim racing and honest as well. And so I've gone for him. So like I say, we've it's kind of my own thoughts combined with what you're reading from other people, because there's all things going on. I'm not saying people are on there lying. I'm saying myths. You know, sim racing is like anything else, especially online. Myths can get passed around, and people, you know, like with the force feedback. I've ended up with force feedback settings that are quite a bit different than what
hold your line, clear right.
Most people recommend. My damping is really high. You know, I'm trying to really what I'd like to do is go out in a racing car. I was watching a Matt Malone video where he went and did Skip Barber Day at Road Atlanta. At the beautiful Road Atlanta, and in the Mazda, and he was talking about the steering, and because I think with sim racing it's difficult because you don't have, there's certain things you don't have. You don't have the seat of the pants feel with the G-forces and everything else. So I think people try and, so really you kind of feel for things tends to come through the wheel.
123.8.
And the pedals. I mean, that sassy guy on the stream the other day was talking about driving with the pedals, which I I must admit, I don't want to speak for him, because I struggle to understand exactly what he meant to be honest. I don't know whether he means kind of rotating the car. Jesus, we're getting... yeah, I don't know whether he means about rotating the car. Because it seems, obviously, it's, you know, driving fast is a lot to do with your braking and turning and everything else like that. But he did recommend one thing.
There's an incident in the Andretti hairpin. We think it might be
I
Alonso.
did understand what he was saying was to read the watch the Skip Barber video about driving fast.
P19.
And that brings us
18 seconds off the leader's pace.
What
yellow flag?
what the kind of aim of today is, and I'm completely ignoring it so far. I need to actually. Well, when I stop talking in a minute, I'll get down to that more. And so
incident in turn 5. It looks like Ricardo.
So the Skip Barber. If I can put my teeth in. The Skip Barber video was talking about, you know, it was going through all the different things in order to drive fast. Sorry, mate. And the first thing was the racing line. Obviously, in order to drive the fastest around a track, you've got to, you know, there's a line.
Fastest lap for Rost, 123.8.
You take around the circuit, and obviously in straights it's fairly. Going for a little off-road. This isn't the racing line, by the way.
That's a new fastest lap for
very
Perez,
much not the racing line.
123.5.
Yeah. So basically, the first principle is to consistently drive on the racing line. So basically, in order to do that, you're basically taking the widest arc you can.
New fastest lap for
through corners.
123.0.
Because the Skip Barber video, everyone should watch that. So it's something like Skip Barber driving
The guy in front
fast.
has just done a 222.2.
Something like that. Search that, and I'm sure it'll come up. And so yeah, they demonstrate. I think it's at Lime Rock. You know, at that last corner at Lime Rock, coming onto the long straight, they have a guy coming round, and I probably should have just stayed sat in the car in the pits when I was talking like this, rather than trying to drive. This is just pointless. So I'm just getting in everybody's way. So what the Skip Barber video is showing is they got this guy to go around the corner, and you know how long it took him to go around the corner and on the straights, because first of all they were talking about how you can't separate the straights from the corners, because you know it's all one, because the way you go, how fast you go through the corner determines how fast you go down the straight. The straights are simple, everyone can drive the bloody straight, just put your foot down, you know, okay, changing gear at the right time, stuff like that. But for the
guy ahead's lap time
for
is
the most part, just keep the wheels
126.8.
straight, foot to the floor, you're done. So but the key to maximising the time between going the corner and ending the straight is, you know, how much speed you can take through the corner. So they got this guy to go around the corner, and then they got him to go around as fast as he could, and he went from like 73 to 80 miles an hour, and he knocked off 4/10 from his time. So then they actually got him to take a wider arc, and he was able to get up to like 97 miles an hour. Basically, he was taking the widest arc he could, and at the limit of the car, and he went from 80 to 97. So you're looking at 17 miles an hour difference between pootling round and then going at the right line. So basically, the initial thing for any racing driver to do is to consistently drive around on the racing line, and that's the the starting principle for, you can't go 97 miles an hour if you're not going around the corner on the racing line. So if you turn, you've got your turn in, your apex, and your turn out. So that turning point, if you're too early, you'll end up probably going wide, which isn't what you want to do. If you turn late, there'll be wasted track at the side of you on the turnout. Excuse me. Let me just. So yeah, there'll be wasted track on the turnout. I've just noticed my laces are undone. So yeah, so we know. So basically, the first principle is to get consistently on the racing line, and then you can start to push it in terms of driving on the limit. And they have that test track that's basically just a big circle, and you can just drive around and be on the limit. Now, I think iRacing have that in the test drive thing. I'm going to look at that and maybe practice that with the different cars. I think that's definitely, because I've come to the conclusion that I've been moving way too fast, jumping around all over the place, and I'm not really doing what it is that I want to do. Is, you know, obviously you want to enjoy yourself having races, of course you do, that's the main thing, but I also want to get better as a racing driver, if you know what I mean, even though it's in the virtual world, but you know, be doing it properly. So, and the first thing is to do the racing line. So I've had the racing line on that iRacing have, which is good to a certain extent, in that you can quickly jump on a new track and you can just start to go fast straight away. But it's not really teaching you the racing line, in that your eyes are gazing at that green and red line around the track. You're not actually learning the racing line. Now, to be honest, most circuits, they have a racing line, kind of, in a kind of invisible racing line by the way of the curbs. So a lot of the curbs on a track, where you want to be putting your outside or your inside tyres, I suppose it'd be outside tyres, wouldn't it? Your outside tyres.
The track temperature is increasing. It's now
on that curb before. That's the widest arc you can take. So now I find that a bit difficult, because it's these cars and the speed you're going, as you're coming up to a corner, if you just try and turn a little bit to one side to get that wider arc, you can quite often dip your wheels onto the thing. So that's kind of put me off, because there's going to be a lot of spinning off. But I have to accept that. And it's why we're doing all this in the AI, because then I'm not ruining anybody else's enjoyment. This is all just me, and as well as learning the racing line, we are still going to do races. So we'll try and, so basically it's a combination of things to make us into a better driver. Because really, I've realised there's no point me joining the races unless I'm at a certain point, and I'm way off that. You know, most of the streamers I'm watching, they've been doing this for years. I mean, that Jimmy Broadbent, I think if you go back to his earliest videos, he was already a proficient. I'm sure he'd already been doing sim racing for a certain amount of time before he even started streaming. Me, I've literally bought a rig, put it together, and this is me I've jumped on the rig and I'm learning and streaming at the same time. So it's a different, we're at a completely different place in our sim racing journey, basically. So this is why this is what I was saying about this week has been a learning process, because you're trying to learn from people who they've already done all their learning, or they're already experienced at whatever at sim racing. So it's difficult when you're listening to them to apply it to somebody who's learning, because this is why I've been going too fast too soon, because you see these guys jumping in and racing and stuff and doing quick time. That's not going to happen overnight, and you need to spend that time. Plus, jumping around all over the place from all different cars. I'm still going to do that to a certain degree, because I want to experience different cars and things, but I think fundamentally I need to have, like this series, the USF 2000 and the GT4, those 3 series definitely. I don't know about GT3 yet. I might do the Porsche or the Ferrari. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. But I need to be spending more time in one car, basically, is what I'm trying to say, to give myself the opportunity to improve. Because when you jump around all over the place, because these cars do, it might only be a sim, but these cars do feel completely different, the drive completely different, the braking points are completely different. But the thing that doesn't change is the racing line. So that's the principle I need to get first, is consistently, because like I say, I've been following the line around the track, and I'm sure that is a good line to a certain degree, but it often doesn't take you right to the widest point, and so there's definitely time to be had there. There's no point me learning the line if it's not the absolute ultimate line. So I need to turn that off and just rip that band-aid off, and accept that probably for a time I'm going to have to take a step back in terms of learning the braking points, and before I can then build up speed, learning the racing line basically, consistently. So because I don't usually focus on that too much, and that's what the thing about the fastest drivers is they'll be on the 99.9% of the time, they'll be on the ultimate racing line. So, and we know what times we can do around here. So plus what I've done with the AI for this series anyway, I'm going to do it for the USF 2000 and the GT4. I've created a season that mirrors exactly what the real life, not real life, but the iRacing official series is. So track, time of day, number of cars, just everything, weather, everything is all exactly the same. So it's just that we're up against the AI. So the AI, the good thing about that is we can restart stuff. So if we have a bad start in a race, it all goes tits up at the first corner, we can restart. These things are all going to help me develop faster. So yeah. So that's where we are. So enough of my chatting bollocks.
It takes it as clear.
Actually, sorry. I've also tweaked the brake pedal as well. Just want to still tweaking force feedback. And I've also tweaked the brake pedal because what I was going to say about half an hour ago was
there's traffic behind.
Gamer
Take
Muscle
care.
mentioned another channel where someone had done a video about brakes in sim rigs and how there's a myth about it has to be this super hard thing.
There's an incident in the Andretti hairpin. It looks like it's
I
Ricardo.
basically blew everything that I'd kind of thought I'd learned this week about the brakes in racing cars, because apparently it's very much a personal thing, which again it's just like sim racing. Some drivers,
Right side. Still there.
they
Clear
showed
right.
Lando Norris, his brake in the McLaren is actually there's quite a long travel in that brake, whereas Gasly has it barely moving.
Right side. Clear right.
And then they also showed GT3 cars as well, how some of them have a massive, you know, because I think what threw me off as well is, like I say, the starting point for me questioning my brake cell was me getting in my mum's Volkswagen, and the brakes in that thing, Jesus Christ, you literally, the travel is nil. So you're literally right. You go from touching the brakes to full on locking up or full ABS or whatever.
That's last.
In no time at all. So
On your right. Hold your line. Hold your line. Clear right.
I don't know what's happened to the livery in some of these. Jesus, the one thing about
Left side. Still there. Clear left.
is everyone's out on the bloody track. I probably... Well, no, it's more realistic, I suppose. But it's getting me used to having other people on. But yeah, so I've tweaked the brake again. In that I've given it more travel because I'm happy with the pressure side of it, but it's a bit too instant with your foot. It's I had it like my mum's Volkswagen.
Sector 2 is 0.9 off the pace.
So actually just need to get used to that.
There's a car
bit
approaching.
more.
Stay behind the line.
So I need to get actually, you know what? Right, so I've got it. I actually think that's a little bit too much. If you just bear me a second. spare me a second. Yeah, sorry. The tweaked it too far the other way. I tweaked it too far the other way now. Okay, let's... Okay. Okay, let's try that. Because basically, the way I had it set up, the way I completely went from having the longest travel on the brake pedal that you can have with these Fanatec version 3 pedals, to having the shortest and the hardest.
There's traffic on the exit.
So I went completely the other way, and now I realise that because the way I had it set up, you went from no pressure to locking up the brakes in. Because I understand it's about pressure ultimately, but you do need, or for me, I need a little bit of travel as well to feel like my foot's moving a little bit. So we need to. Oh God! You can't get to. No
Left
space
side.
around this.
Hold your line.
Oh.
Still there. Clear left.
So yeah, so it's a whole so obviously first things first, as well as the racing line, I also have to have the setup right in terms of brakes, and because I've spent, I've not got the most. Oh, Jesus Christ, somebody else.
Car left. Still there. Clear left.
Go on,
Car left.
around me, please.
Still there.
There's
Clear
no
left.
gap at all.
Car right. Hold your line. Clear right. On your left. Clear
Right,
left.
there we go. After this. Right. So we found a bit of a gap. So yeah, it's a combination of everything, and I need to get all that in place first. See, we brake too early there, but hit those two, and then drift down wide here, drift across here, hit the apex, drift down wide here, foot down, out wide a bit again, come across. Because that was another thing they said in Skip Barber that's interesting. You want to move the wheel once.
Sector 1 is 5.3 off the pace.
So you want to turn, and that's it. You don't want to. See there, we obviously didn't get the turning right. So you want to turn the wheel once, and that's it. Ultimately, obviously, I'm not saying
Sector 2
crash
is
the
3.3
car
off the pace.
because you refuse to. But you see here, the racing line doesn't go as wide as here, but really, it should be kind of there, and then ducking across here, and and then again here, and then dip in here, going out wide here, and then back over here, out wide, braking, again wide, and then getting right out over here.
Alright Rick, there's a car exiting the pits, heads up.
And then come through close to the wall there, drift back across, and then brake in here. I don't know how wide we can go there though, but again that's all going to help you get down into here, and then drift in. What I would love in this game is to be able to position, is if they had cones, that's rather than a racing line, I would like to have turning.
Left side, still there, clear left, left side.
In fact,
clear left, on your left, clear left.
Let me just see what driving aids they've got. Because I'm sure there was. See, brake assist. What actually is that? Spare me a second.
Welcome back to iRacing Basic Training. In this segment, we're going to run some laps with the Street Stock and MX-5. Before you get into an open practice with experienced drivers, it's important to run some laps by yourself in a private test. To do this, click on the test button on the members website and select a car and track you wish to drive. Then hit the Test Car on Track button. In our first session, we'll drive the Street Stock at USA International Speedway. If you're strictly focused on advancing your road course career, you'll find that these tips for ovals can be applicable to your interests too. Think of your first test as an opportunity to prove yourself to a team owner or sponsor interested in funding your racing career. From the first time you hit the track, it's important to start building good habits. Once the software is loaded, you'll see a user interface which includes many important tools and functions. Before we hit the track, we'll open the options menu. Remember, in the quick start guide, we configured your controls. To confirm that you've calibrated correctly, steer the wheel left and right and press the gas and brake down and confirm it matches the on-screen feedback. Also, recall what you assigned to shift gears. If everything checks out okay, you're ready to drive. We're going to use one driving assist until you get comfortable with the track, the informative best line. This feature will give you an idea of where the fastest line is and where you want to brake and hit the gas. Exit the options menu and at the top of the screen you will see a green test button. Click that and the software will put you behind the wheel of your car and in your pit stall. Remember, driving aggressively will not be rewarded in your first test session. Ease down on the gas pedal, as if you're driving a street car for the first time. You are behind the wheel of a race car, but remember, this is a street stock. This is an exceptionally heavy machine with not much grip. Slowly build your way up to the limit of the tires. The wrong combination of gas, brake, and wheel inputs will send you spinning in no time. On the straightaway, try to stay reasonably close to the outside wall. This track does require some braking entering the turns, but not much. Use 10 to 15% brake input, let off the brake, then start to turn into the corner while aiming for the yellow line that distinguishes the apron from the banking. Putting your left side tires next to the yellow line through the turn is where you want to be. This is what we call the groove. When you get comfortable, there are different techniques to run faster lap times, but for now, let's just stick with this. This car is naturally unstable on corner entry. If you take the turns too fast or too much steering input, the car will step out faster than you can counter steer to save it. If you crash or spin, it's not a big deal. You can reset to pit road and be put into a brand new street stock. However,
there's traffic behind, keep your wits about you.
Car left. Hold your line. Clear left.
That was a 132.5. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 1 time is good. Sector 2 time is okay. Sector 1 is quick. Sector 2 time is quick. Just done at 126.1. Sector 3 time's okay. Sector 1 is quick. Sector 2 time is good. Slow down a bit if you don't want a penalty. Your lap time was 128.3. Sector 3 is 3.1 seconds off your best. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 2 time is quick. Sector 1 time is good. Sector 2 time is good. Last lap was at 124.1. Sector 3 time is quick. Sector 2 is 5.4 seconds, slower than your best. Sector 3 is 1.7, off your best. Sector 1 is 0.7, slower than your best. Sector 2 is 0.5, off your best. That lap was at 125.7. Sector 3 is 0.4, off your best. Sector 1 is 0.8, off your best. Sector 2 is 0.3, off your best. That lap time was 1:25.2. Sector 3 time is fast. Sector 1 time's okay. Sector 2 is a 10th off your best. You've just done a 1:23.7. Sector 3 time's okay. Sector 1 is 4.9 seconds, slower than your best. Three 56 PM. Sector 2 is 1.1 seconds, slower than your best. Sector 3 is 1.1 seconds, off your best. Sector 1's quick. Sector 2 time is okay. Need to slow down, give back some time. Last lap time was at 1:26.2. Sector 3 is 2.6 seconds, off your best. Sector 1 is 0.6, slower than your best. Sector 2 is 0.7, off your best. The track temperature's rising, it's now 35 Celsius. That lap time was 125.7. Sector 3 is 0.8, off your best. Sector 1 is a 10 off your best. Sector 2 time is good. That lap was a 124.0. Sector 3 is 0.2 off your best. Sector 2 is 4.8, off your best. Look out for the pit speed limit. Box in 310 metres. .100 metres. 50 metres.
We'll just do 20 minutes and then that's it. Actually, is this where time trials come in? Let's see about doing a time trial. I don't really know what. Okay. I don't really understand what a time trial is, but I'm pretty sure it's something to do with what we want to do. You know, going round and round. Without getting any off tracks or something. Yeah, the corkscrew is, I mean, obviously you're sim racing, so you haven't got that fear, but Jesus Christ, I can imagine trying to go through there in, you know, in real life must be absolutely terrifying. Right, 30 minutes, okay, 4 clean laps required. Ah, well, we can do that. Well, I say that, famous last words. So 30 minutes, 4 clean laps, right, okay. Right, so we're starting all over. that last section is where I'm still leaving time on the track. All about consistency, going as fast as I can while staying in the bounds of the track. Does that mean I didn't get... Might be best to drop to 4th actually, even though you just lift on that thing. Actually, at least. think we need to stop thinking about trying to go fast for this time trial. And it's about not getting any incident points.
That's 20 minutes to go.
But this is all part of the learning process. Maybe it's just staying still. We're doing bloody rubbish. Christ. What is going on? Have we damaged our car? I can't believe... Is it the tyres? I think we've got damage. Yeah, we've got some sort of damage.
Okay, Rick, 15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes.
So half the time gone and I still haven't managed to do 4 laps without getting an off track. Fuck off. I mean, getting a slight off track isn't the end of the world in a race, but you know, this is the next part of the learning process. Keeping it clean. That is going to help our safety rate, and I only really want to get incident points when somebody hits us. Fucking hell. It just shows you're just not ready really for a race. Without the racing line anyway. I think we'll just lift there a little bit earlier.
Okay, Rick, 10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left.
Well, that's been an eye-opener. I really thought we'd be able to get 4 bloody laps done. We're running out of time soon. Don't get off track, you know.
Okay, Rick. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes left.
Please, no! God, I'm shit. So does it have to be 4 consecutive laps, or can you get away with doing? I think it is 4 consecutive, isn't it? I think this actually goes up. I think this actually goes against our safety rating as well. Probably shouldn't have bloody done this in hindsight. I mean, the thing I'll say is it just shows how much practice you need to be consistent.
To go, 2 minutes.
finally managed it right at the end. Just get 4 laps in. An average time of 1, or is that the best? 27.5, which is pretty rubbish.
Watch your speed. Pit lane speed limit is 35 miles per hour.
But the positives
in
to take
3,
from this, well, the positives are that we managed to do it in the end. I thought it would be easy. It turned out to not be as easy as I thought.
100 metres.
13 minutes remaining.
50 metres.
I don't understand. Yeah, I'm going to go and make myself a nice omelette, and I'm not sure. So 127.5, that is our, we have locked that in. So I think you've got 30 minutes, there we go, right. Bloody hell, look at the face of it. But that is, you know, obviously I'd rather be trying to do 125s really. If we can do a 123.6, you know, a second and a half off, you know, if we can do low 125s consistently, that's for 20 minutes, that's what I'd be looking to do really. But I think our safety rating might have taken a mega hit there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So our average lap time was 129, but really 127 is probably what we can do consistently. I think that's the open version, not that I'm bothered, but I think the times should be different. I just want to look at the fix. There you go, so an average time of 127 puts us right nicely near the front, and in the bottom split, you know, it's hardly anything to do. Right, home about. Let's look at the next split. Right. So 127 puts us more in, still in the top 10, so that's fine. And we can do a 127. That's those last 4 laps. That, you know, we can go quicker than that if we absolutely have to. But certainly. Yeah. And then the top split guys, what are they doing? Oh no, there's another split, okay. I think that's going to be similar to the previous one. So yeah, so again, a 127 puts us up there with guys that have got iRatings that, you know, miles ahead of us. So I'm really pleased about that actually, because the 127 average consistently, obviously that's with incidents and things. So yeah, so top split, you know, you're at the back basically. I don't know what. So yeah, top split is a different story. But that's for way down the line. We've only just bloody learnt the track without the racing line. So I think that's a very productive session. I'm really pleased with that actually. Looking at those times, that has totally, I think that's really good to look at those average times. Like I say, basically guys will be able to do a faster lap, but that'll be incidents rolled in, so I'll need to be incident free, in other words, which obviously isn't realistic race, you know, long term. But for the most part, if I can do faster than a 127 regularly, then we should start to move forward, that, which is brilliant. And that's just from a little bit of practice. So yeah, I think we could maybe start doing that on it, because I'm back to work on Monday, so I think Saturday and Sunday, if I start to use those as a track learning thing, so if I spend an hour or so on one track in one car, another track in another car, I think, and then we can go into the Monday to Friday and actually do races and hopefully be a bit competitive and move forward. I think I can see now why guys pick one series, because it's tricky, but I think if we can at least, well, maybe do one open wheel, maybe not the USF 2000, but I really love the sound of that car. It's a little bit faster and it does different circuits. I think there's a couple of ovals thrown in there. There was actually a post on Reddit, an appreciation post about it. So yeah, no, really positive, really, because also there will be some crossover between tracks. So again, I think we'll see how we do. We'll see how we can do at the weekend. Like, so this is Saturday. So far we've done the iR-04. I think if we jump in the USF 2000 and then we jump in the GT, we probably should start with the GT, but they'll be at different tracks anyway, for the most part. Like I say, there might be a week when two are at the same track. But yeah, we'll. I'm certainly ready now, I think, to jump in the car and go into that proper practice session that we did and have a proper AI race. You know, that's what we could do. Instead of proper races, we could do some AI races, do a whole season with the iR-04, and you know, really get into the groove of actually racing, because that's another. You've got all these different aspects. You've got the obviously the initial learning of the track, the fastest lines, your braking points, and then doing that hot lap, and then also the racing as well, because you know, driving offline, like going into the corkscrew offline, going into that fast left-hander offline. You know, I think at the minute we're just lifting. I'm sure you'd have to brake there, things like that. So yeah, but a really positive session, and I think this is much more how we need to tackle this whole sim game, whatever you want to call it, to improve ourselves, is to properly you know, those time trials. We need to be able to do half an hour without crashing, without having an off track. That's you know, you see the F1 guys, free practice one, there might be a few off tracks, but you know, after about an hour or so they get into it and they're flying, and by the race there's hardly any danger. We still do, but for the most part there's hardly any danger of any of them crashing off the track into each other. Is a different story. So or reliability, which iRacing doesn't seem to have, although I did see some guy's engine blow up. I don't know what the deal is with that. Yeah, so that's, like I say, overall really positive session. We've gone from, Jesus, we didn't want to go near the edge of the track, to suddenly we're flying around there in a 123. I think we did a 123.6, didn't we, or 123 something. We smashed through our previous record anyway, and obviously I can't do that consistently. If I could do a 123 like that every lap, then that's top split, you know, top split kind of trajectory kind of thing. So that's the thing we need to aim for. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll see you again later on this afternoon after I've had something to eat. All the best. Bye.